11 days, you said?
Yeah, Shrakes, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I just looked at the logos of Bucks, Chiefs, and so it's like a lot of red. It's a lot of cool. It feels tropical. I feel like we're turning the page, and it's Brady and Mahomes. Now let's dig into it for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Nice and tropical. We'll be here in New York.
Yeah, exactly right.
About it. And the beauty, I mean, look at the beautiful shop behind you. New York looks gorgeous this morning. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block.
So here's what happened. We dug into the Week 12 matchup between the Bucks and the Chiefs yesterday on the show, and Bruce Arians weighed in this week on what that first game means for Super Bowl 55. Take a listen.
Yeah, I mean, you go back, you look at the game and what matchups you had, and so yeah, this one's again, familiarity helps. I'm not really excited playing Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Mahomes. That's a formidable challenge, but our guys will be up for it.
All right, no head coach or defensive coordinator looks forward to going up against those three, Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey, probably the biggest challenge for this Bucs defense. What is the biggest challenge for the Chiefs, though, in Super Bowl 55, Shrakes?
I find this year so interesting because of, A, we know that it's not the typical Super Bowl, but also the Buccaneers are home. This is a game for the Buccaneers. It's a Super Bowl, but like the routine of what they've done all year long is going to be the same exact routine for the biggest game that many of them have ever played outside of Brady and Gronk. And I find it really interesting that it's this COVID year and this team doesn't have to do things that are completely different than everyone else on the Super Bowl weekend. They can sleep in their own beds on Saturday night. They can roll right out. And then they play in their own home stadium where it's not this weird deal of, okay, I'm walking out of this tunnel and I'm in a visiting locker room, but this is going on, and oh wait, and guess what else? Their fans are going to be there. There's not every corporate bigwig who's the CEO of some tech startup is going to be sitting in the first 10 rows. It's going to be local healthcare workers who the NFL has given tickets to, and it's going to be people from the Tampa community. This is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers home game. Yeah. Make no doubt about it. I know it's a Super Bowl, but you're going to see Buccaneers logos. You're going to see the pirate ship. Everything that's comfortable and everything that's natural for this team. In any other week, it's going to be like that on Sunday for them at the Super Bowl. So Nate Burleson, you'll be there, and Tony Romo and Jim Nantz will be there, and Ian Rappaport will be there, and so many other. But guess what? For the most part, it is a normal Sunday game for that Buccaneers team. Yeah. And to me, with what this season has meant and everyone's world's being turned upside down, that's a massive advantage against the Chiefs, who might be there for a day, and it's kind of like, all right, unpack your bags and let's go. And they'll be fine. They're the Chiefs. No. But it's an advantage. Don't get it wrong. It is an advantage.
Yeah, from the routine to the food you eat, hanging out with family, going to the local grocery store to do what you've been doing all year.
Do they get to fire the cannons? That's a real question.
That's a real question.
It's a neutral site. So when the Bucs score, do they fire the cannons or both teams?
I don't know. Think so. I think the league cover operates. I actually asked a Buccaneers source, can they wear the creamsicles? And he laughed and said, this league? No creamsicles for this thing. Sorry. So they can't. But they wanted to.
All right. All right. So the biggest challenge for the Chiefs, I would say fighting the urge to mix it up. Have you ever went through your closet and you have your go-to outfit and you're like, I could wear that, and I know that's money. Always good compliments when I'm wearing that. But I might want to switch it up and wear that turtleneck with the jean shorts, and it's a disaster. Or you go to a restaurant and you're like, the steak is money. Or the cheeseburger.
Always get the chicken parm.
And then the waiter comes over and he convinces you to get the ostrich knuckle soup. And you try it, and it's like, it's terrible. Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is the Chiefs' biggest challenge is fighting the urge to mix it up. Sometimes you play a game and you think, all right, this is chess. So what is the opposing defense going to do? And if they're expecting the long shots, the deep shots, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, then maybe we should just do something a little bit different. Maybe we should really try to control the ground. We actually saw that this past weekend with the Buffalo Bills, right? A couple weeks ago, throwing the ball. And we're like, man, this is it. This is how you beat anybody in the league. Then they come out and they're running a lot. And we're like, this doesn't look like the team that we saw a couple of weeks ago. So for the Chiefs, just do what you do best. What do you do best? You take shots down the field because your pass catchers are the best in the business. Tyreek Hill is unstoppable. Man coverage, he'll beat anybody one-on-one. Zone coverage, he'll find a spot. Travis Kelsey in between the hashes, he can do damage. And the host of players will complement the passing game. So for me, it's the Chiefs fighting the urge to mix. I do not want to watch the first 15, and it doesn't look like the Chiefs we've been watching all year. Because if they do that, the Bucs will take advantage, and they'll start slow. I'm not saying they can't win if they start slow, because we know they can. But just fight the urge. Just do what you do best.
I don't know where to go here. We got creamsicles and ostrich knuckle soup. I thought ostrich knuckle was something different, Nate. But is there any way I could just talk? I'll just go pure football here and what the Chiefs need to do. You're gonna get down there and you're gonna see this giant murals of Tom Brady and this very pretty man, this beautiful face. I think it's about the four uglies for Tampa Bay. I think it's about their defensive line. The four of these guys come into this game, I feel like an NWO group, and it's JPP, Sue, Vita, and Shaq. I mean, they even sound like them, and I feel like they just spray painted the Packers NWO logo across Aaron Rodgers' chest. They wrecked them. Yeah. They absolutely wrecked them. These four guys, it's maybe some of the best, most talented D-lines we've seen in the Super Bowl ever. I mean, these four guys are monsters, and the Chiefs' best two tackles will not be playing. You've seen it. They've been without one for months. They lost their last one last week, and I think it's unleashing hell for these four. I even have a nugget here that I'm going to give. If you're into the props or you want to just have a bold take or something, if you want to take a long shot on an MVP of this game, pick one of these D linemen. Pick Shaq Barrett, pick JPP. It's really rare to have a pure pass rusher with MVP. Von Miller did it.
Randy White
back in the 70s was co-MVP. And Richard Dent on the 85 Bears. It's the only time in 54 years that a pure pass rusher has won MVP. But I think for the Bucs to win this game, I think it has to be 3 or 4 sacks. And I think with the tackles out, JPP, Sue, Vita, and Shaq, 4 absolute ogres up front. It's the pretty quarterback, but it's the ugly D lineman. That's Mahomes' biggest challenge, in my opinion.
It is a really good point that Fisher and Schwartz, we don't know about Schwartz yet. Fisher
sounds
definitely.
Like it, though. Reed made it sound like he's not.
It seems unlikely. Yeah. So you've got, this great offense, high-powered. They've been okay without Schwartz. Now you're without your 2 bookends. I know we're trying to find ways to pick it apart, but the 2 starting tackles are a pretty big deal. They're both
Even if they were in, those Bucs are
They made Rodgers uncomfortable the entire game. Rodgers didn't have Bakhtiari. They're now down these 2 tackles. So Schrags, talk to me about how important rest is for a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who was amazing out there, but was not 100%. Anybody watching could tell. He only had 5 rushing yards. Yeah. Part of his mobility helps offset what's going on with that pass rush. Yeah, and there was no designed runs. Usually they have a couple designed where they're going to do a little read option, and he picks up. So it was like, let's protect him in a way we can and keep him in a bubble. They put up 38 points, but Mahomes needs another, 10 days now to get that ankle ready or whatever it is that's wrong with him, his big toe on his left foot. Yeah, at GMFB with your answer. I thought you were talking Brady Mahomes there. You threw me off completely.
I think we'll do that soon.
Okay.
Later in the
great. Let's bring in Ian Rappaport, our NFL Network insider here. There's been a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers' future with the Packers. Ian, what is the latest in Green Bay? We all heard him on with Pat McAfee yesterday.
Yeah, he talked after the game and really kind of opened the door a little bit. And, Rodgers scoffed on the Pat McAfee show about all the people speculating about his future. His words were one of the reasons we are speculating, which is fine, because as Aaron Rodgers mentioned yesterday, sometimes people are not used to hearing the truth from some of these athletes. 15 minutes after the game, he's crying with his teammates. He goes out to the podium. He says what he feels. All of that is good and normal. It's just for an athlete to do it, I would say not always normal. Anyway, so Rodgers starts this off by saying, everyone is uncertain, including myself. A day later, he tells Pat McAfee, I don't think there's any reason that I wouldn't be back. Okay, so maybe Rodgers took to the podium, was in his emotions, was looking back at this team drafting Jordan Love as successor in the first round rather than a receiver, and talked about potentially how this might be it for him in some form or fashion, maybe headed to another team. Well, it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case, especially when CEO Mark Murphy said, and we'd be idiots on local radio, this is what he said, to trade Aaron Rodgers. So what does this all mean? McAfee also asked Rodgers, is there a contract situation here? And Rodgers said, basically, I'm not going to just say, all right, goodbye, Green Bay, I'll talk to you during the season. There's a conversation to be had. Perhaps Rodgers wants to be tied to Green Bay a little further into the future.
We'll be bringing you some of that sound, of course, from that interview yesterday with Aaron Rodgers. We also have Bud Dupree on the show today, Ian Rappaport, and